another bout?
What, you getting sleepy?
I'm sure they didn't think about this when they paired you guys, but both of your characters are kind of the anachronisms in this movie, having to assimilate themselves sort of into a modern and, human world for that matter. What was sort of the trick for you guys to nail sort of being sort of sticking out and at the same time sort of slowly integrating into sort of a normal modern...
We keep getting asked that, but I don't know that any of them kind of blend in. You know what I mean? Whether it's the big green guy or the guy in the iron suit. You know what I mean? Like I think they all are from. Joss talked about they're quite sort of lonely characters in a lot of ways. Whether they're from another realm or they're from here, they somehow don't fit into their environment or any. And then when they're all together, as odd as it may appear, they kind of fit into some weird sort of team. And I don't know, I'm lucky that we had our individual films to kind of work out who these characters were, because there wasn't the time to, have a single sort of journey and arc for individually. It was all about the actual ensemble.
Well, Joss does such a good job of balancing sort of drama and humor, and for both of your characters, there's a real sort of lack of knowledge that they're being funny when you say he's adopted or there's only one God or whatever. How difficult is it to sort of get the nuance of that for you to know that line's going to be like a little bit of a payoff, but it's not going to undermine sort of the drama of what's going on either in the scene or sort of in the overall movie.
Well, I think Joss is so good about, his internal barometer of what's good and what's not is so sound. A lot of times you have to surrender. Like I think you said, even when you said that line, he's adopted, I think you said you were worried about it working, and it's like the biggest laugh in the movie, you know what I mean? Like I think on the set you might be like, well, does this work? Does this make sense? But you have to, have faith in Joss and let him handle the edit and the delivery, and he can spoon feed the pace to the audience so that it does work.
A lot of that comedy also is sort of the audience knowing something that you don't, and the sort of naivety in that, and the fish out of water that, it's not you sort of going for a funny line, I mean, Ken Branagh said that a lot during Thor and some of the humor in that. He said, you just play the truth, play it for real. This isn't a funny line, but through, you believing that was a very normal thing to say, that's, that's where the comedy happens.
Mm-hmm. How tough was it to sort of retain the character that you created in the first film and then, feel like you were both developing the character, taking him in a new direction, and at the same time fitting into like an ensemble that has so many moving parts?
Sure. Well, I mean, this is kind of the, we all understand that there's going to be sequels to each of our individual films, so the evolution of the character can be developed in those films. This is kind of the bridge before the next verse, so you have to kind of take the first film as the establishment of the character. This is that one chunk of integration with all these other characters and the development of this team, and then we can go back to our own individual stories. So in my mind, there wasn't too much concern with what's Cap's arc in this movie. He has his issues. He has moments to give him authenticity, but he's serving a purpose here, and this is the birth of a team, and in a more realistic term, the birth of a new franchise. So you kind of have to know your role.